Welcome to the Possibility Paradigm podcast, where we have conversations that are at the intersection of possibility, consciousness, actual experience, and energetic intelligence. The Possibility Paradigm are actually more than conversations. They're experiences that can change your tomorrows. Let's jump into today's episode. Welcome everybody to this episode of the Possibility Paradigm. I'm Grace Ambrook. Today I want to talk about the lie of pain, whether it be emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, but the lie of pain and why freedom isn't found in the struggle. As you know, this is a space where we very much expand and open up, crack open the old ways of thinking and the habits that are a limitation of the possibility of you. And we step into a very delicious invitation into being more of you because you are the possibility. And today, this is a pretty juicy one. And that is that the idea of pain and discomfort is actually not a necessity for change. I think we've been sold a bit of a Murphy there in lots of ways because it's suppressing an aspect of ourselves that's far more invigorating, far more in momentum than fighting our way through pain. So, pain can show up in funny ways. It's like perhaps you're beginning to realize that you really only change something when things get bad enough. I certainly used to be that because one of my gifts is actually shifting stuff quite quickly, but I didn't shift it quite quickly. I waited for the pain to be bad enough so that I could really justify and prove that that was a capacity that I have to actually shift this into something greater very quickly. And another regular one is I just have to push through the pain. It's like, pushing through, and this is like an unconscious setup within your energy is that you have to have pain to prove who you are. And even, an unconscious experience of, I can't get by without pain. It's just, and if that's running the show. And I actually worked with somebody recently who was unconsciously, you can't get by without pain. Like pain is just like it's going to happen, right? And there's a yes and no to that. But if it's running you, you can't get by without pain. Then you're a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? We all are self-fulfilling prophecies. And so, pain is actually like a lie. It's a big sneaky lie that we've been sold. And because we have an unconscious investment in the pain, because we're actually looking for our freedom and our sovereignty and our joy, and we think we have to go through the pain to actually have that freedom, sovereignty, and joy. And that's the lie, right? That there's a requirement of getting through the pain in order to be able to access the freedom, the sovereignty, and the joy. Well, I got news for you. Like, no. It's there all the time, but we're not in conscious choice around it. So, we're kind of trained to use pain as a motivator, and it can actually be a tool for making decisions. What's less painful? That will create too much pain for me. It sets limits within you, and that's just a crap way of living, right? And again, as I said before, it's like we wait until something hurts badly enough before we finally make a shift. You might be watching your bank balance go down, and when it hits a certain figure that is your trigger, that's when you get off your bottom and start to look at alternatives for you, or go in and talk to your um, people you work with, or whatever it is. But it's not until that point, right? It's like the pain, or the pain and the fear of not being able to pay the bills. Like, how awful would that be? That is the motivator for you to actually step outside. Um, and I just think that's a painful way to do your life, right? When there's so much more available to us. We also like to use pain, as a proof that there's something wrong with us. And we definitely, because if there's something wrong with us, then we have to fix it, and then we can be motivated in life. Well, that just makes life a whole big bag of hardship, right? And depression, and difficulty, and struggle, and soldiering on, etc., etc., which is, none of those are actual creation modes. But it is a paradigm that's quite rampant on the planet. There's lots of friends. You'll have lots of people to do that with. So if you're afraid of being on your own or alone, and having a different point of view, you'll probably be doing pain at some level. Um, and the other, like, we let pain dictate what's possible, what we can have or what we can't have, what we can be, who we can be. Um, and if anything outside of your essence is actually dictating what's possible, then things are a bit skewy, right? And it happens unconsciously. Like, I'm not having a go at you in pain. Well, hey, I've been on the floor in all sorts of pain, emotional, physical, mental, um, and we feel very powerless in that place, right? And again, the paradigm shift here is that pain is not the truth of you. It's certainly, what if you chose pain not to be a teacher? Like, this is a paradigm shift, right? What if you decided to teach yourself in proactively encouraging ways and possible ways, what is possible, rather than having to have pain as your teacher? And pain is certainly not your authority. And so, how do we stop letting pain run the show? Um, well, if you're interested in exploring that, I can tell you this: a whole new world will open up for you. So freedom in itself is not the absence of pain. Freedom is actually the presence of choice. And sovereignty is saying, I get to choose my next step, not my pain. So even, I mean, it's a deeper conversation around people who are experiencing physical pain. But personally, and with people I've worked with, in terms of mm, controlling what you do, um, pain can be a massive stopper, right? So I was kind of going down then. I don't want this conversation to go down a track around physical pain, because as an energetic being, I look at the energetics of the body in quite a unique way. So I don't want to take the conversation down there today. But this this sovereignty, it's like, freedom is not the absence of pain. Freedom is the presence of choice. And sovereignty is, I get to choose my next step, and not my pain. And so when you do that, you will be making significantly different choices about your work, about your relationships, about your money. If you're not avoiding something and you're actually stepping into creation again, like, that's going to be different, right? That's a different paradigm that you're creating for yourself. So some people say, well, when I burn out, I'll stop working hard, right? It's like, oh yeah, I'll do the pain until I'm completely buggered. Um, and the sovereign way is about going, oh wow, there's there's an intensity and a commitment here to achieving something. What brings that into harmony with all of my life, rather than sacrificing yourself to prove that you can get through the pain of a burnout. And the old way says I can't grow unless life forces me to, called pain. And the new paradigm says I grow because I choose to. I'm choosing it. I'm consciously stepping in to, or stepping even more paradigm shift, stepping from right now. It's already done. And so you, when we're doing this, we're actually playing with the new possibility. Uh, so people then quite often ask me, well, okay, then if I've been doing that, how do I actually shift it? So let me give you something very, very simple. Sorry, other thing before I go on to that is that there is also a very popular unconscious, maybe conscious habit of actually using pain as a validation of success. And just think about that, right? It's like how cray is that? That if it was painful enough, then I must be successful because I've got through the pain, right? Can you see how if you're running any of these perspectives unconsciously, you're unconsciously creating more pain, which is, again, I've seen it on many occasions. And the particular client I was referring to earlier, it's like it was so painful. And this is when this idea for the podcast actually came up, from her pain. It's because her whole life was based on you can't get by without pain. And she works in a sector that's got a lot of people and a lot of pain in there, right? So it's what I was talking about, the self-fulfilling prophecy. But again, let's play with the new possibility, right? So how do you shift it? So next time you notice pain, whether it be physical, emotional, mental, frustration, instead of saying, oh no, here we go again. Because that's what we do when we're in pain. It's like, oh my God, surely not again. Has this come back again? How come this has happened again? Right? It's not the right question. The question, or a better question, could be, what would I choose if I wasn't using pain as a motivator here, what would I choose right now? If I wasn't using pain as the way to open up a different choice, what would I choose right now? And that simple question starts to unhook you from the pain paradigm and help to drop you back into the sovereignty. And as a sovereign being, you are never broken. Your body is not your enemy, and pain is not the proof of failure, nor is it the validation of success. Take a breath. It's not a proof of failure, and nor is it the validation of success. What if you shifted your paradigm to create your freedom in a completely different way? Pain is part of the programming, and you don't need it to set yourself free, right? And so my invitation is to extend your conscious playing with choices that are not based in pain, that are not coming or dictated from the pain or the fear or the struggle. What if you chose actually what lights you up because it actually connects you with the freedom of who you are, no matter what it be? Because if you're being shoved around by the lie of pain being a requirement, then you can see how you've got yourself into a loop, really, that's not going to be fun. and energetically is not based in creation. It's founded in keeping you in the loop of pain. And, you know, I don't think any of us enjoy it fundamentally. We certainly don't like watching other people in pain when you can see something quite larger available for them. So thank you for being here on the Possibility Paradigm. I hope something's landed for you. If so, perhaps you can share it with somebody who's been living in the old, pain as a proof kind of paradigm, and encourage them to start shifting it also. And so remember, you are the possibility. And until next time, keep being you. Bye for now. The free workbook, Finding Your Missing Piece guide, has helped hundreds of people unlock their potential and create positive change in their lives. It's a free gift and available at the link on my website that's listed below. Find Your Missing Piece. Practical tools and exercises that bring the missing awareness around how you view yourself, your possibilities, your obstacles, and activating your receiving capacities.